Hi there. I'm David Gibson. Welcome, welcome. So let me turn on my original sound and we'll start with a little invocation here. So we set sacred space now. We ask for help from many of our guides. Ascended masters, archangels, ancestors, and positive aliens. Only for our highest good. So we have a strict rule around here. You can never ever do a sound bad or wrong or out of pitch. It's always perfect. It's a very strict rule. So everybody do any vowel to set the space. Any vowel out loud. Now listen for the moment the bowl goes to complete silence. It's like you can still hear it ringing, even though it's gone. And it's so still. What I've learned is peace is a frequency humming consistently. You can have silence that's uncomfortable, but when you have a frequency humming consistently in the room, in the air, it's so still. And it's so simple. It's just a slow fade on the home note of the key of the song. When you have one crystal bowl, it's always a home note. I've had 10,000 people in a room perfectly still. The best part of sound is when it ends. What I've learned is the basis of all sound healing is the difference between chaotic vibrations, which are like, ah, or that's like fear, ah, or anger, or anxiety, or pain, or stress, just stress, versus the stable, consistent vibrations, which with the voice are just the vowels. anybody can feel the difference, right? That's the basis of it all. Even if you know nothing, anything that does a drone is like crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, gongs, didgeridoo, tuning forks. Most instruments are drones in sound healing, and that's stable, consistent vibration of peace. So the whole deal is to overcome the chaos with the stable, consistent. And there's a law of physics. I was a physics major at UC Berkeley. A law of physics that says a strong vibration will overcome a weaker vibration and entrain the weaker into the stronger. We commonly call that entrainment. In physics, it's called dominant resonance or forced resonance. So anytime you create a stable, consistent vibration of any vowel or humming counts, the secret vowel M, right? Or any instrument with stable, consistent, or even a stable, consistent rhythm, it will overcome the chaos. And that's the basis of all sound healing. It's all about peace, right? It gets really detailed from there. We can get into all the different frequencies of every cell. Let me put it this way. When the body is healthy, every single part of the body is humming consistently instead of chaotically. Every cell, every organ is humming consistently. And then the stress comes in and the tension, right? And it's like a little, So the beginning of all disease, and in fact, all disease, is chaos instead of stable, consistent. And that's not only physically, but emotionally. You want stable, consistent emotions instead of them being on the roller coaster. It's kind of fun on the roller coaster, but it's a little wild, right? Stable, consistent. And stable, consistent thoughts, which is focus. And then there's stable, consistent spiritual aspect, which is gratitude's pretty cool. It's nice stillness, energy. Compassion's really great. Love, excellent. Universal love's really happening. But the best, stable, consistent vibration of all is source. Source, there's nothing better. How many of you have been one with the universe? It's the best, most peaceful feeling ever. And there's universal love there too, as well. Cool. As babies, everybody had it down. Everybody was a professional sound healer. If you had anything going on, you let it out with a sound. Wah! Right. With zero thought as to whether you were doing it right or wrong. And whether anybody cared. Right. And then around 1 or 2, it's like, shh, shh, shh. Right. And then you go to school and there's no more sound. You go to work and there's no more sound except around here. And you lose that God-given ability to express yourself. And that's an emotional blockage. And blockages are dangerous. They cause physical blockages, which are disease. So it's really important to remember and get back to being able to make sound freely. Because so many of us are scared to make sound. So we're going to do something really, really serious. We're going to do gibberish. Okay? So I'm going to do gibberish to Angel, and then you can do it back, and then we'll do it with each person. Okay? Maybe we'll have a little conversation. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Chris. Oh, there we are. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, Paula. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah,
Blah,
blah.
blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Okay, so Leo. Blah, 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 blah.
blah.
Okay, Stacy. Blah, 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 blah.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-doo.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Cool. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now we're going to add love to that. So you can just stay muted, and I'm going to do the sound of love, and you do it back with gibberish. Okay, here comes. Okay, do gibberish with love back. You can just stay muted, but do it. I'll just watch. Excellent. Okay, now do this. Send love with sound to everybody in the group, and don't forget to receive it. Nice. Now, send love with sound to everybody on the planet and listen for their hearts responding. Now, send love to Source and listen for the universal love coming back. Now, send love to the earth and listen for it responding. Now, send love to your own heart. To your own heart, send a sound of love. Nice. Now you can send and receive love, or you can just be love. Every cell of your being is love. You are love. So just be love and make the sound of that. Now, notice how big your field is. Is your field just right around your body? You think it's like a foot out, 3 feet out, 6 feet out, the whole room? Notice how big your field is, and expand your field to encompass the whole planet. I'm sorry, the whole universe. Expand your field so you're the whole universe. And now make the sound of being love while expanded. Many people talk about the frequency of love. There's Leonard Horowitz says that 528 hertz is the frequency of love, which is about here. Try that. Although he now admits there's zero research behind that 528 has anything to do with love at all. So a lot of people have abandoned that. And now a lot of people have taken up 432 hertz. And the only thing about love I've ever heard about that is that it's the heart meridian. I don't know how they measured that. But this 432 is like this. Try that. However, when I was in Egypt, we toned a vowel of the resonant frequency of the chambers, and after about 45 minutes of toning, the ceiling opened up and universal love poured into our hearts, and it happened like 3 times when we were there. And I heard around 200 hertz. Try this. Try it. Make sound. But what I've learned is that everybody's got their own frequency of love. Let's find yours. There's one first way you can do it is just to open your mouth and with the least amount of energy possible, make a sound. No singing, just open your mouth and let a sound out. Now you can also go up and down with any vowel and make sure you're on the note that's the easiest to make. It should take no energy. So you can go until you make sure you got the one that's the very easiest to make. Try it. And then you can get the app. I'll put it in the chat. N-Track Tuner, a free app on your phone, and it will tell you what note and what frequency that is. That's really cool. That's actually the easiest note for you to do toning with a bowl. So it's nice to get a bowl in that note. And also, this happens to be the actual note that people commonly go to when they express love. Let me give you an example. I really love my kitty. The last note is the home note of the key of my voice. Let me put it this way. Everybody sings when they speak. Some people sing really interesting songs, and some people sing more, songs that aren't that interesting. But we're all singing. That means we all sing in a key. So the key that you sing in is the easiest note for you to actually make out loud, which we just found. And when you express love, you go to the home note of the key that you sing in when you speak. I love my kitty. I wouldn't say, I love my kitty, I love my kitty. No, I love my kitty. That's the home note of the key of my voice. Kitty. Ooh, ooh. Some people go to the musical fifth. I love my kitty. Kitty. Right? So, there's another note of love that's actually even more important than your voice note. And that's the one in your heart. So let's find that frequency and note. So tune into love and just feel it in your heart. You should have it down by now. Okay. Feel it in your heart. Come on. Feel love in your heart. Now, go up and down in your head silently and find a note or frequency, you don't have to know what it is, that matches the energy of that love in your heart. Just do it silently. Don't do it out loud. Do you get it? Now make it out loud. That is so important for you. It is the best note to know. And you can use the N-Track tuner and find out what frequency and note it is. If that felt right and you actually did it, then it's actually really, really the note of love for you. Who could say it's not? So I believe everybody's got different notes for love instead of an archetypal one. There's maybe an archetypal one for universal love out there. I would say it's D instead of F. Actually, whenever somebody says, I want a crystal bowl and the note of love, the F bowl. And I said, well, you could get the F bowl, but you could play all the bowls and see which one opens your heart. And people rarely choose the F. It's best to find your own, like we just did. It's really cool. So that's the energy and notes and frequency of love. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. It'll take a little bit because I kind of got a lot going on. So first of all, we've got the Sound Healing College here, which is the only real certificate of sound healing in the entire United States, because we're the only college of sound healing. We're the only one that has an official certificate. All the others are not really official. And you need an official certificate if you're going to work in many public facilities like hospitals in many states. So, and there's all these other protections as well. And we have very specific, we have over 1,000 rules and regulations we have to follow as a real college. So we also, I've written the #1 selling book in the world in sound healing, The Complete Guide to Sound Healing. It's how sound works physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Also, I just finished a book on loving relationships, creating harmony and loving relationships, including many sound healing techniques. And the basis of it all is completely being whole on your own, heart open. What I've learned is the amount of chaos and stuff you have in yourself is amplified exponentially in a relationship. The amount of peace and harmony and stillness you have in yourself is amplified exponentially in a relationship. I've got all different sections, though, on how to find a relationship, how to not be attached to relationships, how to actually also communicate, and especially how to run love with relationships. I mean, when you learn to run love, oh my God, it's so much fun. It's incredible. I've been running love on the phone. Actually, we just do it. We just schedule a time. In fact, at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to run love for a half hour. Oh my God, it's incredible. But the best, the very best, is when you learn how to access universal love. There's no more neediness in a relationship at all. Oh my God, you got all the love in the world. And then when you get together with someone else who can run universal love, it's party time. Right? So that book is out now. So, I actually started out in high school playing the clarinet. I was in the marching band, I was in the symphony, and then I took up bass clarinet so I could be first chair. There's only one bass clarinet. And then I went to UC Berkeley, and I was going to be an actual physics major. And I studied physics. I learned all about the physics of sound. Then I ended up in Santa Cruz and got a degree in broadcasting at San Francisco State and got into audio recording. And then I went back to Atlanta, where I'm originally from, and ran a recording studio in Atlanta. And one of the first clients we had was James Brown's band. So I got to meet James. He gave me a hug and said, "Bless you, child." So I've been blessed by the Godfather of Soul. Right? Atlanta is cool, right? But it's still surrounded by Georgia and the South, right? And so I made my way back. So little nose. So I made my way back and got a job in a major recording studio in Santa Cruz and worked with a lot of major groups, the Doobie Brothers and such. And then I moved to San Francisco and opened up my own school of recording and then added on sound healing as well. And then we had, at that point, I had one of my instructors had a friend that said he could take us international, but my credit wasn't good enough to actually get the funding. So he had to control the finances. Watch out for that one. He stole over $1 million within 3 months and caused the school to go bankrupt. That was over 20 years ago. So after about 3 years of anger management, I thought I should be able to have compassion for this guy. And finally I got it, that he was so disconnected from humanity that he had no friends and no love in his life. And we went to court for 4 days, and I held an octahedron of compassion around the whole courtroom, and we got a judgment for $12.2 million. I didn't get any money, but I was able to restart the actual school. And then a few years later, a friend of mine had a meeting with Steve Wynn in Las Vegas, the richest guy in Las Vegas. He owns the Wynn Towers. He started Las Vegas, and he was looking for a new play. So we went down, we took our sound table down there, put him on the sound table, vibrated him into bliss. And my friend didn't have a play, so I said, "If I get a play, you want to see it?" And he said, "Yes." So I put together a play called Compassion. And I took this guy that ripped me off to the extreme of having compassion for those that are destroying the planet. It's IMAX 3D with acrobats interacting with the 3D. It's also vibrating seats in every chair, vibrating speakers. And I went back to Steve Wynn. He had already taken on another play. But in the meantime, I've now gotten funding, and I've hooked up with the main producer of Cirque du Soleil, and we're now ready to actually create it. So I can go back to that guy that ripped me off and say, "Thank you." It's one of those deals where whenever anything bad happens, I always think, how's this going to turn out good? I don't exactly have it down completely, but I've made really good headway. Right? So here's the stage design for the actual play. Right? Cool. So it was years ago, I was teaching audio recording, and somebody said, "Dave, we know what the knobs do, but which way do you turn the knobs to make it sound good?" And I thought I should be able to explain this. So I came up with this whole visual system for showing different structures of mixes, where each sound is a sphere or a bubble. So this would be the vocal, here's the guitar, here's the keyboard, here's the strings, volume is front to back, panning is left and right, frequency is up and down. And I wrote a book that uses these visuals to explain mixing. And it's the #1 selling book in the world in audio recording for 20 years. It's the book used in every school in audio recording around the world. I've sold over 100,000 copies, and I also wrote The Art of Producing, the #1 book on producing. But then I did a video back in the 80s, and it's like I've got 4 million views now. This is me back in the 80s, right? And I show different structures of mixes so you can see all the mixes visually. We still teach audio recording here. We have a whole program. But I also came up with a system in virtual reality where you can actually mix with the bubbles. Instead of pictures of the mixing board, you reach up and grab the sounds floating between the speakers. And in surround sound, they're floating all around the room. You can reach up and grab them and throw them and bounce them off the walls, or you can actually just put them wherever you want. And so I've got that demo working, and we're creating an app that will completely transform the whole recording field, so you can actually mix with bubbles instead of pictures of a mixing board. Right. But then I realized you could put these bubbles inside the body. So in virtual reality, we've got it working so you can look down in the Oculus and see a graphic of inside of your body, and you can work with whatever system you want. And you get a whole database of sounds and visuals, sacred geometry visuals that have their own healing capacity. And you can drop them into different organs, or you can use our assessment system to figure out what frequencies or music you need in different parts of the body. And then when you put it in there, it moves it up and down on the sound table, so you feel it inside your body right where you're seeing it visually. Right. And then if you got a sore knee, we got very specific frequencies for the knee, very specific geometries. Oh my God, right? And then you can have sounds and visuals throughout the whole body. You could do a whole chakra treatment where each of these is spinning, and you look down and you see it spinning. We actually have beams of light coming into each chakra right now in our demo. And you feel it vibrating on the vest that we make or the actual sound table. You can also be in rooms of light in virtual reality, and you could be inside an angel with all of your chakras and auras lit up with sound and light. I can't wait to have to test it. We're also working on a new medical system. First of all, we have the Medical Sound Association. If you go to Medical Sound Association, we have over 1,000 doctors and sound therapists working to set up treatment plans for a full range of issues. And the treatment plans are really detailed. They're 30 pages long. And these treatment plans are for grief, anxiety, depression, trauma, dementia, addiction, all these different issues, really well informed by doctors and sound therapists. So if you got any of these issues, you can check them out, and or if you're working on somebody with these issues. Again, that's at medicalsoundassociation.com. So then one of my colleagues now has 15 frequencies that will destroy 15 types of cancer electromagnetically in the lab, with clinical studies to prove it over the last 10 years. We're now looking at getting FDA approval for this. We already have the funding for it, so we can get rid of all chemo and radiation. Already, Johns Hopkins and the UC Med Center are using ultrasound to get rid of liver cancer and prostate cancer. The world is changing big time right now. We also have a contract with the largest dementia company in Northern California. And over the last 2.5 years, we've created 8 different treatments for dementia up in Napa with 160 dementia patients. And it's profound how effective it is. We do music they love. We play all the instruments and make sure they love the instruments we use. 30% do not like crystal bowls, too piercing. We also have music tuned to their brain. We do the brainwave assessment, which is, if you go to yourhomenote.com, we actually have a whole assessment where we can find the frequency of your brain when you're at peace. It's actually a rhythm. And we can tune music in delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma to you. And we're doing that with the dementia patients as well. It's shockingly effective. And then we do jam sessions with them, a little different for more advanced dementia patients than it is for early stages. And then we got the Sound Lounge. They have a whole room devoted to the Sound Lounge, and it's profound how effective it is. It's calmed the place down 50%. The only problem is they're fighting to get on the Sound Lounge. We use tuning corks. We have this little vibroacoustic strap that you can put on any part of the body that will get rid of pain as well. We also teach emotional expression with sound as well. Most people, as I see here, are scared to make sound, right? So we do a lot of call and response to get them comfortable, woo, woo, right? And then we get to the point where you can make the sound of how you're feeling, especially good for kids as well. So I had this one guy with dementia that we had already gone through, call and response, got him comfortable making sound. He was like this yesterday, one day. He was totally catatonic. And I said, can you make the sound of how you're feeling? And he goes, and he looks up at me and smiles and goes back down. I'm like, oh my God. They don't have to use words anymore. They can totally just make the sound of how they're feeling. It's really good for the kids too as well. So that's the dementia program. We also are working on pain. We have frequencies that will get rid of pain. Then we want to do research on exactly the frequency of the nerves that are creating the pain or the muscles. And then we've learned that nerves can only handle one piece of information. And when you fill them up with sound, there's no more pain. So we're on the track to do the research to get rid of at least 70% of all pain in the next year. We're also have a whole system that we've figured out that is how all healing works. And it's all about flow, but it's musical flow through the body. What I've learned is, from downloads as well, is the definition of health is smooth flow without blockages. But that's actually music, smooth flow. So you can have smooth flow with blockages where it's kind of like and you get stuck and there's nowhere to go. Psychiatry, that's called the double bind, which causes schizophrenia. Right? Or you can have rough flow. Oh, what am I going to do? I don't know where to, God, I can't handle it. Right. Or you can have smooth flow. Da, 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 da. Oh boy, I can't wait for the next challenge. Here we go. What a day. Right. So what we're doing, we're going to be measuring all 70 trillion cells for their frequency with an electron microscope or light microscope. And then we can measure the notes, which are the cells, within each of the 11 medical systems. If you don't have smooth musical flow through your nervous system, you're going to be shaky. If you don't have smooth flow through your circulatory system, you could have a heart attack. If you don't have smooth flow through the digestive system, all types of problems happen. But that's music. So we can measure the notes with the electron microscope and get the rhythm from your EKG and EEG, where you're at peace. And now we have your 11 songs of you. And we can use needles with frequencies, microcurrent pads, infrared light, ultrasound, and scalar waves, and run that river of flow as music through each of your 11 systems, tuned precisely to you to heal every disease there is. That's where we're at. We're working on. But then there's also our friend Jeffrey Martin. He has frequencies right now you can play on the brain with ultrasound that will bring you into oneness and unity consciousness in the lab every time. And he can even show when you're there with the EEG map. If you're in oneness and unity consciousness, there's no more anxiety. There's no more depression. There's no more PTSD. We're talking an end to all mental, emotional issues. And you're freaking blissed out. The only problem is, why get out of bed, right? Why go to work if you're blissed out all the time? But this guy, Jeffrey's already got classes on how to integrate oneness into your daily life. Right? Oh my God. It's just so major. So we basically now have cures. We see how to do it to get rid of all mental, emotional issues and all physical issues. Maybe not in my lifetime, but we're on the way. And we're getting complete funding to set up a whole lab to start testing every disease. Right? The only problem is most people won't believe it. We could have a cure for cancer, for pain, for all types of stuff, and most people aren't going to believe it. Right? That's a really big problem. So we put together 7 movies, the Cirque du Soleil play, and 7 shows on Netflix. Let me show you the little demo. Check this out. So it's all about educating the masses as to how it all works. We've also got our Sound Healing Research Foundation, where you can find over 1,000 clinical papers and student papers. Really good resource. But the other thing we're doing that I'm most excited about is a new educational system. We got a $100,000 grant to take our entire curriculum with our 20 instructors into 2 Montessori schools. And over 7 years with 100 administrators and teachers, we've created over 2,500 exercises for kids from 3 months all the way up to 18 years, all based around sound, music, and vibration, geometry, and emotional expression. And we now are getting massive funding to finish out the curriculum for all subject matters and create 20 schools in 20 countries and track it for 3 years and go to the governments and say, look how effective this is for peace, focus, and social emotional health. Right. So let me show you some of the kids from the actual Montessori school. When you hear the sound stop, raise your hand. Okay? Right when it stops. When it stops. Okay. Listen for when it stops. You ever seen a room of 3 to 6 year olds completely still? It's really long.
I think it stopped.
Can you still hear it? It's still going. It's a long sound. Can you hear it?
How many of you can still hear it ringing? Hear it? Kind of, it's like still there. Even though it's gone, it's still there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wee-ho.
like it's raining.
Usha.
Usha.
Ushma. So that's the deal. If we want to change the world, really teach the kids how to be at peace, and also teach them math that's based on nature instead of the math I learned in school, which I still don't know. Actually, though, we do a lot of body percussion. Let's see if you guys want to play. So try this. So we're going to do ooh, oh, ah, oh. Ooh, oh, ah, oh. Try that. Ooh, oh, ah. Come on, do a body percussion. Ooh, oh, ah, oh. 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 It gets very complex, and it gets them in the body. It's really, oh my God, it's so good. So good. And then we actually add in sacred geometry to that as well. Okay. So that's our kids program. Then I got a download when I was in Egypt to create a sound chamber. And I got more downloads when I was in there's a pyramid in Mount Shasta. And then I was talking to this psychic, and she says, Dave, here's the 3 beings on the other side that have been giving you the downloads. And you have any questions? So for 3 years, I was able to ask detailed questions on how to build it. And it's the King's Chamber, exactly the dimensions of the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid, which is 34 feet by 17 wide by 19 high. And when you tone those frequencies, they can take you into a higher state of consciousness. With the dodecahedron around it, and an octahedron around that. We have it working in the Oculus in virtual reality. Now, if you have an Oculus or know anybody that does, email me and I'll send you the demo for it. And then we've now got some land we're getting, and the psychic's already told me where to build it on the land. And just this last weekend, this guy shows up at my house from my best friend and says, oh, I'm an architect and I can build it. I'm like, oh my God. So we're ready to go on that. Okay. So those are the things that I'm up to as far as all the different projects. Mostly just a new medical system, a new educational system, and lots of movies to educate the public. Okay. So let me tell you about how to find frequencies in the body. I mean, we have, in the class, we hand out thousands of frequencies for everything you could imagine, cells and organs and diseases. But here's the problem. Nobody agrees with anybody on anything, because the science is not definitive yet. Again, I was a physics major at UC Berkeley, and here's the problem. The problem is, if you look at the frequency of the heart, for example, there's a mathematical formula in physics for any material and any space. For material, it's based on the actual thickness and density, which are square root relationships, and the size, which is just reciprocal, double the size and half the frequency. So there's a mathematical formula for the frequency of your heart based on the size of your heart and materials. But there's also the materials of the heart. There's also the fluids of the heart. They have a frequency, a different frequency. There's the cellular level frequency. There's the atomic level. There's the photon or light level. There's the electromagnetic level, which MRI measures. And there's the quantum level of love. There's all these different levels of frequencies, and no one is saying what they're measuring or what they're intuiting, right? What we really need is at all those different levels, the range of frequencies for all humans for the heart, because everybody's a little bit different, right? That's why it's hard to say it's a specific frequency, because everybody's different. And then we could look at the range of frequencies at all different levels for the liver. But what we're looking at is the actual relationship of the frequencies. We figured the relationship of the frequencies of the cells and the relationship of the frequencies of the organs is more important and the same from person to person. Even if people are different, the relationship between your heart and your liver is going to be the same for all humans. So we're looking at finding the template of perfection for a human, and then, of course, finding all your individual flows and music through that template of perfection. But here's the deal. Really, instead of trusting any chart, you need to learn to find it yourself. Exactly like the shaman. The shaman doesn't go, oh, let's look at the chart for the song of the plant so we can sing it. No, the shaman just gets still enough and tunes into it and hears it. So it's all about, as my friend Bev said in Mount Shasta, it's all about being still enough to hear it. The more you are still, the more the portals open up to oneness. We have a whole class on it that's way more complex. But when you get to a place where you're one with the universe, you always know. No more classes, right? So that's really about opening your intuition. Right? So let me show you some techniques to start with that, to actually find different frequencies in your body for yourself. So we're going to first find the frequency of your chest cavity. So put your hand on your chest, and we're going to go up and down in frequency really loudly and listen or feel which one vibrates the chest the most. Let me demonstrate. So I'm going to go up and down until I find the one frequency that vibrates the most, and I'm going to zone in on it. Okay. There it is for me. Okay, now try that. Go up and down in frequency really loud, and have your hand on your chest and try and get on the one that vibrates your chest the most. How many found it? Yep. Cool. Okay. Now let's find the frequency of your neck cavity. Smaller space, higher frequency. Put your hands on your neck and go up and down and see if you can find the one that resonates your neck. There's a couple there actually. There's the one for me. There's a low one too. Okay. The next one we're going to find is the skull cavity. This one's really loud, except what we're going to do is we're going to use the vowel E. Not E out the mouth. E. No, E up the nose, like this. Try this E. E up the nose. E, not E, but E. up the nose. Okay. Now you're going to take your headset off and put your fingers in your ears and go up and down and find this one. This one's really loud when you find its frequency. My frequency is here. Everybody's going to be a little bit different because of the size of your head. These are the resonant frequencies of those spaces. Now let's find one a little bit harder. I'm sorry, this one's really easy. Let's find the frequency of the 4 chambers inside your heart. This is not woo-woo. There is an actual resonant frequency that will get louder when you find it. But the only problem with the heart chambers is you're going to be distracted by your chest cavity resonances. So you almost have to do this one intuitively. So put your hand on your heart and go up and down and see if you can find the resonant frequency of your heart chamber. Smaller space, higher frequency. Cool. How many of you found it? Anybody find it? I had this woman, she said, Dave, I can't find these, I'm not intuitive. And by the end of the class, she was like, Dave, I can hear the frequency of my Lyme's disease. Oh, wow. You get an A+. What do? I said, go up and down, above and below it to break it up. Once you find it. Another student, at the end of the class, she goes, Dave, I can hear the frequency now of my mom's cancer. I'm like, whoa, I can't do that. She said, what do I do? Well, go up and down, above, match it, and then go up and down, above and below it. But hold boundaries so you don't take it on. Don't stay with the match. If you match its frequency, you can take it on. I actually had one of our instructors had breast cancer. She found the frequency of her tumor, went up and down, like vibrato, to break it up. Went in for surgery, and they said, something's wrong with the X-ray machine. It's completely gone. This is really, really effective. Right? So when you practice, you get really good. So now let's find something even a little harder. I'm sorry, this one's easy, really easy. Let's find the frequency of your adrenals. You know what sound the adrenals commonly make? Stop! Stop! Please stop! So I can't feel my adrenals when I make a sound. So we have to do this one completely intuitively. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up and down in your head silently and find the frequency of the adrenals. Adrenals are little pyramids right on top of the kidneys, right, in the middle of your back. Right. So close your eyes, and when you go up and down silently, when you find it, it's like a little fairy goes, near and in, near and in. Right. Or it's just a knowing. Right. Okay, so go up and down in your head silently and find the frequency of your adrenals. And then make it out loud. Even if you get it wrong, you're still sending positive energy, and you're sending a vowel, a stable, consistent vibration. You're not going, right? You're also sending energy, because that sound is energy, and you're massaging that organ, even if you get the frequency wrong. If you happen to get it right, you get the bonus, and you can resonate that part of the body into perfect health. I've seen it happen over and over and over with people. You can also do it silently. So tune into your own body and find something that needs a little help. Maybe you got a little stress or tension or pain somewhere. Tune into that part of the body, and first go up and down in your head and see if you can find a frequency that matches that part of the body, a frequency that's good for it. Just play with it. You can't get it wrong, right? Again, even if you get it wrong, it's still going to be good. Now we're going to do it silently. Let me demonstrate. I got a little pain in my neck from when I broke out a windshield in high school. So I'm going to breathe in, and on the out breath, I'm going to send a frequency to my neck like this. Silently. So breathe in and send that frequency you found to the part of the body that you're working on the out breath. Breathe in, and on the out breath, imagine that frequency being sent to that part of the body. This is so good because now you're also engaging the breath. Right? Really effective. You can find the frequency of any part of the body and heal it that way. Now, you can also find the frequency of your thymus, which they say is the high heart. And a lot of, actually had a psychic told me that the thymus is where universal love comes in. It comes in through the thymus down into the heart. So you could find the frequency of the thymus and bring in universal love like this. You can also find the frequency of your thyroid. I would bet, I wouldn't say it in public, but I would bet that you could get rid of thyroid issues by toning to your thyroid. When my thyroid's not doing well, it feels like it's buzzing. A little chaos, right? And then when I tone to it, it stops buzzing. Try it on your thyroid. If you find the frequency of your pituitary and hypothalamus, you can open up the third eye. You find the frequency of your pineal gland, and you open up the crown to source. It's higher than I can sing. This is very cool to play with and get down. Now, there's also the frequency of different emotions. Let's find the frequency of gratitude. So tune into your physical heart. We're not doing love. Tune into your physical heart and bring up feelings of gratitude and appreciation for your heart beating 24/7, keeping you alive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Feel this gratitude for your heart. through your whole body, down to the cellular level. Let this energy of gratitude for your heart, keeping you alive, surround you like a bubble and go through all of your auras. Then, stay in your bubble, and if you guys can turn on your camera and notice everybody else in the class. Okay. Stay in your own bubble of gratitude. We've now created a field of gratitude in the whole class, around the whole world. Also, there's a field of gratitude on the whole planet. 400,000 babies born today. A lot of people in gratitude. A lot of people live in gratitude on the planet. So tune into the field of gratitude on the planet, the field that we've created in this room, and your own bubble, all at the same time. 3 levels at the same time. A lot of gratitude. Now, go up and down in frequency in your head and see if you can find a frequency that matches this gratitude. Just play with it. You can't get it wrong. And then unmute and make it out loud. Nice. When you find a frequency of a emotion and make it out loud, it's way stronger in your body, and it goes out to the whole planet and helps harmonize the planet. This is very cool. Also, whenever you tune in to multiple things at once, like 3 levels of gratitude, your brain goes into a brainwave state of theta, mostly. So like sparkles on the water, whoa, or a view, whoa, right? Or all of the sounds in a mix of music where you kind of become the music. I used to get stoned when I was in high school and become the music. That was probably why I became a recording engineer. Right? Or all of the frequencies on a crystal bowl. So check this out. Here's the low note. And here's the high note. Tune into low and high at the same time. Multiple things at once. Now, if you tune into all the frequencies on a gong, holy moly, there's thousands in there. The left brain can't handle it. So you totally go into theta, which is exactly where people are when they are one with the universe. When you're in unity consciousness and one with the universe, you're tuned into multiple things. Instead of the prefrontal cortex, which is tuned into one thing, how can we fix it? How can we fix it? How can we fix it? Right? You go into the whole brain working when tuning into multiple things at once. And now you have much more capacity and you're right on the threshold of being one with the universe. This is a huge aspect of sound healing, is multiple things at once that the left brain can't handle. Multiple frequencies in multiple sounds, or even in one sound. Right? This is really a key to why sound healing is so effective. In the classes, we go into it way more detail. Okay. We've got a full certificate program here with a lot of different instructors. Let me tell you about them. So we've got like 15 instructors. Suzanne Sterling teaches voice, and also she's like the master of the world on how to unleash your voice if you've got any problems with the throat chakra, which is a big deal for women because men have been squashing the throat chakra of women for tens of thousands of years, including now. Right? She's just a master teacher for helping you unleash your voice. Stephen Halpern sometimes teaches. He's been doing sound and music since the beginning of time. Randy Masters, oh my God. I'll come back to Randy. Randy's a trip. Sylvina actually teaches, she's a shaman. She teaches, she especially good here. She actually does a whole weekend class where she takes you to the depths of your soul to unleash the shadow side that you didn't even know you have. She also does online classes as well. A lot of people have said she's way better than ayahuasca. Sonia is one of the best singers I've ever heard. She teaches you singing techniques without recrimination. She also goes through chants from around the world. Liz Addison, we call her the happy shaman. She does a lot of sound and movement, works with Native American energies and chakras. We Then we have Vicky Dodd, who's been doing sound for about 60 years. Really wise, does a lot of voice work. And then Lakshmi, who is the master of the Sanskrit and the deities from India, which they already had it figured out. Richard Feather Anderson is our sacred geometry instructor. He teaches sacred geometry as a way of understanding consciousness, like Plato taught it. If you felt you were abused in your math class, he's the class for you. He's really fun. And then Dan Lappin, in the second semester, he teaches a whole technique for working with different psychological issues with sound. That's in our advanced program. And then Gerald, he actually teaches music theory, inner music theory, especially how to work with musical intervals to put a crystal bowl set for a session together or a bunch of tuning forks, and how musical intervals are the relationship of anything in the universe. Is really a cool class. Then there's Randy. Randy has one of those minds that remembers every single thing he's ever learned since the beginning, right? So he's like an encyclopedia. He knows more about sound frequencies and way more than even John Boulot. He's kind of like John Boulot, but off the deep end. And he also knows more about geometry and color and light frequencies and how they all fit together to create the whole universe that we live in. He's unbelievable. Right? So those are all our different instructors. We have the online course, which is 6 months, just about every week you could start. We also have their summer intensive, 10 to 9:30 every day. And you can do the online part, half is still online. Yeah, those are the two options. So you can do the whole thing online, or you could come here and do classes here, half of the classes here. We also have our recording classes, which are starting on Tuesday as well. And then we have the advanced program that starts again in October. Here we get into acupuncture and psychological issues, and we go through all the different types of issues from the Medical Sound Association and how to deal with them, from anxiety, depression, PTSD, pain, all the different aspects in detail. So you really become a serious sound therapist. And then we also have voice analysis software that we sell, where we've done 20 years of research to find what missing notes in your voice correspond to what issues. And you can even use that as part of your practice as well. We sell the whole software. Same with the brainwave assessment, where we find your home note, and you can actually use that as your own practice. What we do there is we play each of the 12 notes and rhythms and have you tune into which one's the most peaceful, calm, and still. Then we give you CD downloads tuned to Delta for sleep, Theta for creativity, Alpha for presence and learning. beta for thinking and overcoming ADHD, and gamma for blissing out, all tuned precisely to your brain, which is way better than random binaural beats. Find that at yourhomenote.com. Here's another thing that's really cool. This is a list of all issues and then all the different things that we offer. We got the treatment plan and Medical Sound Association. We have whether the brainwave or voice analysis helps. We have SIMA frequencies you can play on the body. You don't listen to them. You play them on your body with either headphones or the devices that we have. And then you've got music. We've got guided meditations, instruments, and vibroacoustics for all these different issues. So if you got one of these issues, there's a whole range of things you can check out for it. We also should show you our vibroacoustics as well. If you go to soundloungecenter.com, we make sound tables and sound lounges. We make a full range of sound dolphins. We make sound pillows that vibrate. We also sell the vibrating vest, and this is the strap that you put on the body for pain or for muscles and nerves and tendons and ligaments. We have specific frequencies you don't listen to for muscles and nerves, tendons, ligaments, and all the different systems in the body. And then we've got also the sound table that vibrates, vibrating massage table. They're so effective for so many issues. I get on twice a day, every day. It's incredibly effective. Okay, so this is my song Enlightenment, where the Hathors from ancient Egypt show up, and when I've played it in different workshops. So enjoy. It's about 8 minutes. So I forgot to tell you about classes I teach. I go through physics of vibration, and then physiology, sound physiology. And then we go through how binaural beats work on the brain, brainwave entrainment. And then we also release stuck emotions with sound as well. Nice. And then also we practice treatments on each other, and then we also go through how to do a sound bath or concert. Let me show you one of our students who uses a looper where he actually records a little bit of the sound and then plays along with it. So this is Charles Peoples III. He's a graduate, and he's using the looper. Check this out. Yeah, it's good. See, he just recorded that vocal. Now here's a recording of a previous student myself working with Sansua. This is like a little sound bath. Okay, check this out. Enjoy. Okay, I'm going to finish by talking about chakras. So, the most common system people use for chakras is the C to B thing. Root chakra is C, and it goes all the way up to B for the crown. That's the most common that everybody uses. So here's that system. Here's C for the root, feel it in the root. D for the second chakra. E for the solar plexus. F for the heart. G for the throat. A for the third eye. And B for the crown. It really bugs me that the crown isn't ta-da, right? It's actually the musical seventh, which is really unstable. Right? It also bugs me that these notes don't sound good together. Right? All at once. If I play them all at once, they don't sound good. Right? Now, there's a system in China where they use musical fifths instead of whole steps. So they go, and those all sound really good together when played all at the same time. That's really cool. Also, in that Chinese system, they use F for the root instead of C. In ancient Tibet, they used A for the root. Around here, we believe that your root chakra is your home note, which is from the brainwave we were talking about. It's the rhythm of your metabolism, which your heart and brain go to when you're at peace. And we find that. So my root chakra is B flat, and it goes up from there because that's where I feel really grounded, is in my B flat, which is my metabolism note. So everybody's got different ideas for notes. Everybody's even got different ideas for frequencies. There's a whole range of different frequencies that people have come up with. Here's all the different notes, and then here's all the different frequencies. I mean, there's even way more than this. But I much prefer using frequencies for chakras instead of notes. I don't really subscribe to the notes. I'm not a baby tosser. I'm not throwing out any babies. You know, a lot of people are really into the C to B thing for the chakras. And of course, on the crystal bowls are labeled that. Right? But I actually prefer frequencies instead of notes. So we've got a really huge crystal bowl that's like 42 inches at the school. It's massive. It's like the biggest crystal bowl in the world. And it happens to be tuned to A, but it puts out really deep bass. So I see that as the root chakra because we're using frequency as bass, regardless of the note, for the root chakra. We've got like a 44-inch gong that's got a huge amount of bass. It's G flats. I use that for the root chakra as well because it's got a lot of bass in it. So anything with a lot of bass, regardless of the frequency, right, as opposed to the note. Same with like the little chimes or little bells. Who cares what note they are? They're really high frequency. So I use them for the crown. What I've done is mapped all of the instruments. So here's all the root chakra instruments. Here's all the second chakra instruments, mostly all based on frequency instead of notes. Here's the third chakra instruments. And then the heart chakra is mostly harp, especially. And then I use alchemy bowls. And then we got the fifth chakra. And then we got the third eye, which are all high frequencies, and then the crown. So what I did is I created this guided meditation on chakras based on every chakra being the same note, just at a different octave. So the root chakra is a C. The second chakra is a C. The third chakra is a higher C. The fourth is higher C. And then higher, it's all C. What's cool about that is when you play them all at the same time, it sounds beautiful. Octaves are the most beautiful harmony there is. So that's really, really cool there. But also, the other thing about the C to B thing is it's only one octave. There's a school of thought that says every frequency is a nutrient. You need them all. And that's what we're looking at when we do voice analysis. We're looking for the missing frequencies in your system based on your voice and getting those back in. So you got a full array of all frequencies, just like vitamin therapy. If you're missing a vitamin frequency, you take that vitamin. Now you got the full array of balanced of all frequencies and energy flows. And you're healthy again. Right? So by having, instead of one octave of the notes, we got 7 octaves if we do C for every chakra at different octaves. So you're getting all the nutrients. You're getting the full spectrum of low to high frequencies. That's very cool in this guided meditation. There's one other thing in this guided meditation that we did at the very beginning, and that is a slow fade. When you do a slow fade, the longer the slow fade is on the home note, the more peaceful you feel at the end. Right? That's a crystal bowl, right? Some crystal bowls do 5 minutes before they fade out. Well, this slow fade on this song is 5 minutes long. So you're going to be really blissed out and at peace by the end. And I forgot the one other thing. We're going to tune into all 7 chakras simultaneously. Remember when I said we tuned into 3 levels of gratitude? When you tune into multiple things at once, you go into theta, which is the threshold of oneness. We're going to tune into all 7 chakras at the same time, simultaneously. Okay, you can watch the video. It's cool visuals, but you're welcome to close your eyes. This is about 15-minute chakra guided meditation where you tune into all chakras simultaneously. Oh, you definitely need headphones on this one. If you got headphones, go get them because the bass frequencies are too low to hear on computer speakers. Enjoy. Tune into the root chakra. You're grounding. And connect your root chakra to the lowest frequency you can hear in this music. frequency into your root. Now tune into your second chakra while keeping the frequency of the first chakra going. The second chakra is your emotions and sensuality. The second chakra is an octave higher. Hear both frequencies, lower and the higher. Both chakras at the same time humming. Third chakra while keeping the first and second present and humming with those two frequencies. The third chakra is your will and your internal power. Hear that frequency in the music. First chakra and second. Third chakra. All three going at the same time now. First chakra. And second. Third chakra. Your heart chakra. Fifth chakra. All 5 chakras at the same time now. First chakra. And second. Third chakra. Your heart chakra. Fifth chakra. Third eye. Chakra. First chakra. And second. Third chakra. chakra. So one last thing. Let's do a sound hug. So everybody unmute, hug yourself, and make the sound of it. Gotta make sound. Take care. Bye.